Good evening, YouTube. Got some crows in the background. I guess they're down at the local park and some trees. This is the patio enclosure that I have behind my house, and I've got these dual wall polycarbonate panels on the roof and then on the wall here, but in between there's the 2x6 joists or rafters, whatever you want to call them, that run that way. And you've got this opening here that's just a little under 2 feet this way, and then it's a 2-foot spacing between the 2x6s. I want some way so I can seal this up to keep bugs and whatnot out of here, because ultimately I'll be putting a wall on this side here, and I don't know if you can see that up there, but I have a piece of acrylic panel stuffed in between the two rafters and then between the ceiling panel and the beam across there. What I want to do with those is drill some holes in those for 120 millimeter PC case fans so that in the summer I can have ventilation here, and that's why I want something here that will seal this off against bugs but will allow airflow. So here's my wire mesh, probably hard to see on the camera. So I got some that's just a little bit wider than I need. So I used a pair of these sheet metal pliers to bend a 90-degree flange on there, and that flange sits up against the polycarbonate sheet and seals up against that face, and then the screen just gets stapled up to the wood around there. Okay, got that one. I marked the outside, trim it down to the right width, and then put a staple in at the back corner there, the back corner there, and then one in the middle, and then I can pull it tight and work my way out both ways to meet up in the corner. And so this mesh is 0.1 inch spacing, so it's around 2 millimeters, maybe 80 thousandths opening. It's a galvanized steel mesh, so I'm hoping that it's a small enough size to keep bugs like yellow jackets and whatnot out, because that's one problem I have along here is when the yellow jackets, like in the spring here, they want to build their nests all over up here, so it's a constant battle trying to keep those guys from setting up house in here. So this was the LED tape that I had originally put up on the outside of my patio enclosure. So I have like a 16-foot, 5-meter length there. So this was supposed to be the weather-coated LED tape, but I think it was pretty cheap. You can watch here, I'll power it up, and you can see it's lost large sections there. It's probably lost 5-10% of the lights, and even the ones that are left are, there's some that are kind of dim, and so I don't think this was very good quality tape. Instead of trying to replace it and reuse it, that's why I figured I'd go with these separate light bulbs, because I like the look of those. There's a whole strip that's gone. I don't know what happened to it. I haven't actually used this very much, but you can see it's missing big sections, so I think the coating must have broken down. I'll try to reuse this in the garage, at least the metal strip, and then if this tape fails, I'll just rip it down and put up another strip. Yeah, this might work okay in the garage. Yeah, so this is my main LED strip, and this one has worked perfect. Not a single chip is burned out. This gets used all the time, and then the way I have this set up is I have a little wireless remote here, and if I push that button we can turn on the light out there. So then I've got another strip here that's inside the enclosure, and that one's held up fine too. It was just the one on the outside. So right now the outside lights will be plugged into the same circuit that these lights are on, so that way I can just turn them on and off with the remote. And if I leave them on, then I can turn them on and off with the switch here inside the house. So I'll click the switch here and I can turn everything on and off. So anyway, the outside light, I think what I might do is put them on a double pole, double throw switch. So what I could do is have one side of the switch go to this circuit, which is controlled by the motion sensor, and that way if I walk out and have the lights on, the lights outside the door there will also turn on, and then they'll turn off as well, because those are on a timer and motion sensor logic. But then with the switch, I could flip the switch the other way and then just have them go straight to 12 volts and have the lights on all the time. Because one of the problems is if I was having some people over and we were out back, sitting out there, the motion sensor here won't ever trip. So you'll be sitting out there and 10-15 minutes later the lights will turn out. So I think that way I could have a double pole, double throw switch. I can throw it one direction to have automatic lights, and then the other direction I could have manual lights. I like these automatic controlled lights because if I walked away, in about 10 minutes those lights turn off automatically. So I can never forget and leave them on. They turn on and turn off automatically, and then if I turn off the remote, those lights never come on, and it's only these lights that turn on with the motion sensor. So yeah, just trying to figure out how to incorporate all that stuff in the outside lights, get some better looking lights out there, and they're supposed to be weatherproof, and then I get my insect screen and the weatherproof lights, and they'll be either motion sensor or manual lights. So I think that should cover all the bases, because I really like these motion sensor lights. They work really well. Hopefully maybe this weekend we can get these lights hooked up and see what they look like.